Today we are going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Slang Words. Specifically, we are going to be reacting to this video, the top 50 Yu-Gi-Oh! Slang Words. I didn't even know that there were 50 terms. I'm sure there is, but as a long-time player of this game, maybe there's some that I don't know about. We're going to be talking about them today. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. Let's see what this creator has to say. Please go show him some love in the pinned comment description down below. Let's get started.
What are some of the most common Yu-Gi-Oh! Slang words? Whether you're a new or veteran Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, knowing these words before going to any level of tournament is important, especially if it's your first competitive event.
Off the top of my head, pop, mill. I don't know. Are we going to get into... You can't do things like draw. Pass, maybe? I don't know. Let's hear what they are.
So, in order to help you, I've compiled 50 of the most common slang terms I've heard while dueling over the past decade.
Dude, I can't even think about 50. I can't even think about 10 off the top of my head here. I'm sure if I had to ballpark it, I would think like I probably do know like 20 or 30.
So without further ado, let's get started because there are a lot of terms to go over.
Let's hear.
Advantage. The amount of usable cards a player has over another.
I mean, that makes sense. Anti-meta. Anti-meta. I didn't think about that being a slang though.
Anti-meta. A card or deck that specifically counters meta decks.
I love anti-meta decks. I've always had a big game with the anti-meta cards. And by the way, we do have, I believe, 2 deck profiles for different anti-meta decks in the Edison format if you guys are interested.
Back row, or back row removal. That's just another term for the spell and trap zones.
Now that I think about it, why is there no like front row term? Why is it only back row?
And back row removal refers to a card that destroys cards in the back row.
True.
Beat stick. A monster with extremely high attack.
I want to know how these things come about because it's just so ingrained to us now. Beat stick, I don't know what bench is.
To put a monster in the spell and trap zone via a card effect.
I did not know about that. What the hell is that monster, by the way? IP Masquerina? What is she doing? I guess we'll have to do a card art commentary on that archetype sometime.
Board break. To destroy an entire board or most of an opponent's board. Book. When a monster is flipped to face down defense position.
That's a slang term, people just saying book. I know, like, I activate book, but can it really be considered slang if it's like literally I'm playing Book of Moon? That's like saying, like, if I'm playing my X-Saber deck, Airbellum is a slang term because I didn't feel like saying the X-Saber.
Bounce. A card effect that returns a card from the field to the hand.
Now that we're going into this, it's a little bit odd. Like how these terms come about. Brick, of course.
When you draw a really bad starting hand and can't make a good play off of it.
Oh, I thought brick was just like one card. I literally made an entire tier list on the bricks of Edison format. I thought brick was like I drew this like one brick card.
Similar to brick is dead card, which is a specific unusable or unhelpful.
I did not know that.
Card. Bump. When a card receives a higher rarity reprint. Chain block. When you chain a card effect to another card, so your opponent cannot respond to the first chain link.
I didn't know either of that, but then again, that might be, and depending if you guys are new to the channel, I feel bad for those of you who have been watching the channel fairly regularly that you hear me say this all the time. I'm an old player. I'm coming back. There are still things that I'm here to learn.
Cheat out summon. When you summon a monster from the extra deck using a card effect instead of the normal summoning mechanic.
Oh, that just makes me think of the ridiculous it didn't meet the proper requirements of a synchro summon Starlight Road. I hate it. By the way, guys, go check out our video on the dumbest rules in Yu-Gi-Oh history. I think I cooked in that video a little bit.
Crash. Attacking a monster with equal attack to destroy both. Disrupt. Using negates and floodgates to prevent your opponent from making their board.
I feel like nobody actually says disrupt. Maybe you hear it here and there, but I'd have to really sit down and think about that.
Dump or foolish. To send a card from the deck to the graveyard.
Who calls that dump or foolish? Again, I call it foolish when I'm using foolish burial. There's slang terms for that? Interesting.
Extender. A card that can help a player continue or recover during their combo. Fizzle. A card effect that cannot apply its effect on resolution. Floater. A monster that generates card advantage when it leaves the field.
You know what's sad? I always think about that TikTok of that kid going, "It's a floater." It was so stupid now that it's come out of my mouth. I feel so cringe just saying that, but I can't help but think about that.
Usually by replacing itself with another card. Floodgate, a negate that affects both players, usually in the form of a continuous trap.
Yep.
Fodder, a card that is only used as cost or tribute for another card. FTK and OTK. When
That's
the player
classic.
wins on either the first turn of the duel or in a single turn that's not the first turn of the game.
See, that makes more sense to use than just a slang word. There's half of these that I like rarely hear about. Generic. Okay.
Generic. When a card's cost or materials are able to be met by a non-archetype specific monster.
What? Where would that even come up in a conversation? Generic materials, I guess you could say. Oh yeah, never mind. I'm an idiot. That makes sense.
Trap. A monster who can activate their effect in the hand and who usually negates or disrupts an opponent's play.
To be honest with you, I thought that hand trap was actually like a legal Yu-Gi-Oh term.
Card once per turn, or HOPT. A card that can only activate its effect once per turn, even if you control multiple copies of that card. Line. A specific combo or way to achieve an end board. Lone Fire. A monster that tributes itself to summon another monster from the deck.
There's no way that people look at other cards and go, you know what, this is a lone fire. I've never heard that before. But then again, I might just be sounding dumb because I've spent some time absent from the game. There's no way these new slang terms have popped out like that many.
Mill, to send a card from the top of the deck to the graveyard.
Classic. That's like one of the oldest Yu-Gi-Oh slang words right there.
MST, using the card Mystical Space Typhoon or using a card with a similar effect to pop a spell and trap. Open with, the cards each player starts with in their opening hand. Overextending, wasting resources or extending too much to a point where it hurts the comboing player.
Do people ever say that though? Oh, you're overextending right now. Or, oh my god, I've overextended myself.
Plus, when a card generates more card advantage than its cost.
Yeah, okay, plus minus is one that makes sense to regularly use. I feel like most of these slang terms that we've taken, like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not hating on the video, I'm actually quite enjoying it. I can't see people really using that many.
For example, Pot of Greed is a +1 since you draw 2 and use 1 card to get its effect. Pop, an effect that destroys a card on the field.
I want to know how cards like slang terms like that come about. Does it just like one person say it and then the rest of the group says it pop, 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 and then it just ends up becoming a Yu-Gi-Oh term?
Power creep. When cards become more powerful over time, making older ones obsolete. Retrain. When an old card receives a new version with an updated art.
X-Head Cannon has a oh, sorry, it's X-Cross Cannon. Wow, that's another archetype that we'll have to learn about, man. We also, if you're new to the channel over here, we make videos learning about archetypes as an old player who's getting back into the game. I did not know X-Head Cannon had a brand new card to it.
And modern effect. Rip. A card effect that discards a card from your opponent's hand.
I've never heard anybody ever say rip. Oh, I'd like to rip this card from your hand.
Rhoda. A card that adds another card from deck to hand.
That's the same thing as foolish. They just say it's Rhoda. Like, I play Rhoda. I play Reinforcement of the Army. That's been the entire thing. Like, you don't use it for other cards. I'm playing Reinforcement of the Army. That's Rhoda.
It can also just mean Reinforcement of the Army.
Yeah.
Scoop. Another term for surrender.
Yep.
Spin. An effect that puts a card from the field to the top of the deck. Staple. A necessary card to play in every deck, like Ash Blossom.
Dude, I never realized what a giant forehead Ash Blossom has. Look at that thing, man. You have an entire board on that thing. But yeah, Scoop makes sense. I already forget the slang term that we're talking about. Hang on.
The deck. Staple.
Oh, staple, yes. Staple's been a term forever in Yu-Gi-Oh!
Necessary card to play in every deck, like Ash Blossom. Starter. A card that starts a player's main combo.
Makes
Swing.
sense.
Another term for attacking. Tag out.
Swinging? Tag out, fusion without polymerization.
Out. When a monster effect removes itself from the field and summons another monster in its place.
Never mind, I was just thinking about Gladiator Beast. Oh, that's contact fusion I'm thinking of.
Tech. A card or small engine placed within a deck to boost its power or consistency.
Makes sense.
Tier N. How strong a deck is in the modern format, with Tier 0 being the strongest. Top deck or Heart of the Cards. When you rely on whatever the top card of your deck is to clutch up the duel.
Guys, who says Heart of the Cards unironically? Like, I know sometimes you can be playing a game, all right, I need the heart of the cards, and you just like do it to be cringe. Maybe that's why people actually say it, but there's no way somebody says I need the heart of the cards to guide me right now.
The out. A specific card that can counter an opponent's board and get a player out of a situation. T-set. Setting a monster into one zone and then setting a spell trap in the zone right.
That is such an unnecessary piece of slang. There's no way that people use that. No way.
Beneath it, forming a T-shape. Turbo. An engine that can bring out its best card in one turn with as few resources as possible. Turn 0. If you're going second, it means your opponent's first turn. Vanilla means a normal monster. Lastly, X of means the number of copies of a card in the deck, with 3 of meaning 3 copies, 2 of meaning 2 copies, and 1 of meaning 1 copies.
No, that makes sense. Dude, I actually really enjoyed that video. I did not think we were going to get through 50 slang words for Yu-Gi-Oh! And I like how short it was, too. Did I double the time length on that? Ridiculous, guys. But if you want to have another conversation about Yu-Gi-Oh! Check out another reaction video that we did right here. I'd love to have you over there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Take care, everybody.